This is the biggest crash we'll ever see in our lifetimes. It's called the everything bubble. Everything's going to come down. So for most people, that's bad news. But as I was saying last night, crashes, everything goes on sale.
In today's video, best-selling author Robert Kiyosaki warns that most of the people will gonna get wiped out. He reveals that this crash is worse than 2000 and 2008. Before listening to him, please ensure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel.
There's a lot of predictions with the economy. Some are saying everybody's exaggerating, it's not going to be as bad as it is. Some are saying it's bad, you're going to go through it, but it's going to recover Q1, Q2 of 2023, it's going to be bad. Some are saying it's horrible, it's coming, it's around the corner. Where do you stand?
That's why I brought this book here. I do this because it's proof I said it, if you know what I mean. Because everybody now is a prophet. But I wrote this book in 2013. And his Rich Dad's Prophecy, why the biggest stock market crash in history is still coming. And I said, I'm going to change the title to, It's Here. This is the biggest crash we'll ever see in our lifetimes. It's called the everything bubble. Everything's going to come down. And that's how you can prepare for it. So for most people, that's bad news. But as I was saying last night, crashes, everything goes on sale. And you can't get rich at that time. You know, like right now I'm in hog's heaven because Saks is always having sales. So I keep buying stuff I don't really need, but I'm in there shopping. But the most important thing, what this country and the world needs, as you know, Europe's in trouble. They don't think the EU is going to make it. China's in trouble. Japan's in serious trouble. The world's in trouble. And it's in trouble because of a lack of leadership. And as President John Kennedy said, leadership and learning go hand in hand, basically. So when I was invited by Patrick Bet-David, I'm here to serve those who serve. We need more leaders, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm here to acknowledge you for being leaders in your own little worlds. But this country sorely lacks leaders. I mean, I'm not Republican or Democrat. But I just can't believe what's going on in our government. I mean, how can they open the borders? How can they cut off the Keystone XL pipeline? How can this guy blame Russia, President blame Ukraine and Russia for our problems? We have food shortages. Sri Lanka, which is one of the richest island nations in the world, is in rioting right now. So we need leaders. So I'm here to support you guys. I'm here to serve those who serve.
What good will come out of it?
Well, as I said last night, this is a time for you to become bigger leaders. Because I think people are kind of waking up that maybe it's our leadership that's the problem. And this is your time to become leaders. More people need leaders like you than any other time in history. And I was watching your podcast about how you use social media and YouTube. I mean, my God, ladies and gentlemen, this is your time. But your time is because the country and the world needs real leaders. There's a guy named Jordan Peterson who said, if you think tough men are bad, just see the damage a weak leader can do. Yeah, we've had weak leaders all over the world right now. So this is your time, and I'm here to support you becoming better leaders. Remember, leadership and education go hand in hand. And there's a lot of people who are not here to learn or not learning because they're probably in college or something, learning nothing. The worst case, which I hope I'm wrong, would be civil war inside America. That's more than a crash, it's a civil war. And my prediction is that Donald Trump and I are good friends, his sons and I are good friends. I went to his son's wedding here at Mar-a-Lago, and he's a leader. If they try and put him in jail, I hope they don't, we'll have a civil war. Because this last election was stolen. And he says America is watching Arizona. And they want to figure out how we handle it, because they know, he says, it's not fraudulent. It was criminal what they did with the ballots. But again, it was a man named Stalin who said, it's not who votes that counts. It's she who counts the votes. And ladies and gentlemen, we lose the right at the ballot box, we lose our democracy. And that's why this raid on Mar-a-Lago violated the Fourth Amendment. We cannot let this country come apart by these criminals running our government. We need new leaders immediately. So the worst it could get is civil war. I think the best we can express is probably a depression. We're already going into it. As I said last night, you know what we do, we print money to solve our problems. And all that does is increase debt and creates more freeloaders, social welfare. I'm not against social welfare, but don't print money to pay for it. At the same time, our debt escalates. Our debt to GDP right now is 120%. At 90% debt to GDP, we're bankrupt. That means for every dollar we spend, we go deeper in debt right now. So our debt is now in the trillions. I don't know how many trillions it really, I've heard it's 260 trillion. I don't know how they measure it anymore. At the same time, they raise interest rates into a recession. This has never been done before. So that's why I'm saying there's somebody intentionally doing something to bring America down and the world down. And there's a video of Trump speaking to, I think, United Nations or something, and he's telling the German contingency back in 2018, he says, don't trust the Russians. Don't depend upon the Russians. And now Russia can cut off their power. So there's something really goofy going on. I'm not privileged to find out about it. I want to put some fear into you, because the more dangerous the mission, the better you've got to be. Now, most people say that's not good. I said, well, it inspired me to become a better pilot. The purpose of a leader is not to be the leader. The purpose of a leader is to take what a great leader like Patrick does and pass that lesson on. So your job, I congratulate you for being here. You could be a lot of other places today. But I think your most important job is to take what Patrick is teaching and pass it on to your people outside this country or your home. We need leaders, right, ladies and gentlemen, right now, and Patrick is one of the best. As I said, when I met him so many years ago, this big bus pulls up, and I said, who is this guy? But the moment I looked in his eyes, I knew who he was, because his core values are solid. As I said last night, it's our core values. Then you have the culture, and outside that's organization. So in the U.S. Army, when I found out he was 82nd Airborne, I knew who he was. Because the Army is the big organization, the culture is 82nd Airborne, but the core values are what drive him. If you can duplicate his values, we win. Stock markets, when they crash, go down in 3 phases. Boom, boom, boom. Phase 1 was a bounce. It was called a bear market rally. This baby is going down, I hope, because I'm going to get richer. See, the thing right now is if you're afraid, it's because you got bad advice in your head. You're operating on bad information from your mommy, your daddy, your college professor, your school teachers, whatever it is. I get sexually stimulated thinking about a crash.
Yeah.
Because I'll say it again, the tougher it is, the smarter you've got to be. That's why I honor you for being here. This is a great leader, passes word on. I did the same thing in my cash flow board game in my books. I pass on what I was taught. That's how you serve other people.